Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 553. My name is John Morgan, and Mr. Vegas himself, Cold Coffee, is with me, taking some time out from his busy schedule, just hitting the clubs and just making his way around town. Big man in Sin City.
You know how we do.
You've been on a little run lately. I like it.
I know.
Like it.
And then I was like trying to go out tonight. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. You know what's funny, and it shows the age. You'll get a kick out of this. All right, so when I joke saying about I'm going out tonight, I have tickets to a comedian that was big when we were younger.
Yep.
I said the name of this comedian to the sound guy yesterday, and he had no clue.
No idea who you were talking
no
about?
No idea.
Are you
I pulled up a
serious?
picture. No idea. The comedian, for those listening, is Pauly Shore.
I didn't even think you. I guess you're right because
he was huge in the
he was
80s,
massive,
90s.
right? He was massive.
Sam probably wasn't even born.
But I was gonna say, but he's not one of those like if you said
he
like
hasn't stayed relevant.
if you said like
Richard
Pryor or
yeah.
Eddie Murphy or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like people that like culturally relevant generations past.
I feel like in that time for us though, he was really up there.
He was.
Those guys. They had a huge swath of like people paying attention. They did so good, but like I thought Pauly Shore was that dude. That'd be like Pee Wee Herman, right?
The Weasel.
The Weasel. I was like, he was like, who's that? I was like, the Weasel, and he was like, looking at me, and I kept doing it, and I was like, I don't even know what that's from. I just remember you said the Weasel. Was that like on one of the MTV shows or something?
That is so funny to like try to explain who Pauly Shore. Like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know and you try to explain why he made it, like.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It makes no
and you
sense
guys,
at all.
And you guys found this man popular. Why?
They're like, y'all were weird back then. And it was like, that was the big hair days. The hairspray was probably clogging our follicles. We weren't getting enough oxygen to the brain. But, yeah, so I have tickets to go see Pauly Shore tonight. But it struck me so odd and just made me feel my age when I was telling about this comedian who was huge in our younger days.
Yep.
And this kid had no recollection of who
That's
he was.
funny.
And I was just like, whoa. But yes. So, yes, last night I went out and saw some live music at a great little club that's really, really good musician. And, been trying to enjoy more of Vegas. But I will tell you, waking up this morning, I was feeling every bit you had some drinks last night. And then the worst decision of it all is stopping to get Taco Bell on the way home.
Oh.
I was looking for a chocolate malt, and somehow I was like,
How do you
I'm
go
not
from chocolate malt
I
to
couldn't
Taco
find
Bell?
any. Because literally, I missed the
Chocolate
street
malt.
that I knew was going to take me by a Sonic, which probably worked better because I was craving the chili the foot-long chili dogs from Sonic, and that could have been evenly just as bad. But I missed that street. I'm just driving. I was listening to music, and I was like, whatever. Let's just go home. And then I was like, man, I really wish I got that chocolate malt. And I was like, isn't there Taco Bell up here? And sure enough, there was a 24-hour Taco Bell right there.
Man.
So
that was great, man.
but yeah, it's and maybe it's just part with the Vegas weather, everything. Like this is one of my favorite times. We talk about it all the time. The weather's so good. You just want to enjoy the city
gorgeous
right now.
It's
I'm
like
loving
70
it.
degrees,
That's
man.
so nice.
So here, okay, we always talk
Windows
about
and doors are open.
all day at my house, bro. I got the windows
Yeah.
up. It's funny. My wife, I don't know. My wife likes keeping everything closed. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, open it up. Let's
Have you
go.
turned
Get
your
some
AC
fresh
off
air.
yet, or is it still on?
Oh no, my AC's on. My AC's on all the time. But yeah, I like it, especially at night. I like it cold.
Oh, gotta have it at night.
Gotta
when
have
you're
it cold.
sleeping.
But no, it's funny. So I always tell everybody, and I'll say it to the end of time. April, October. If you can come to Vegas and it's not time dependent, pick one of those 2 months because it's amazing, right? And I'll always read. But you know what I just realized is that October is followed by my least favorite month, November. Time change. Time change. I was just thinking about this morning because I was talking to my wife.
Yep.
I'm like, did you know that the time changes next week? And then man, that's like when I'm taking my kid to jiu-jitsu at night. It's already dark by the time I leave the house. I hate time change. You talk about first world problems. We got things to worry about in this world right now. But on top of my list right now is we got to fix this daylight savings time thing. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it makes no damn sense.
Well, it's funny. The time with it getting darker, it's already starting to happen.
Yeah.
Like even before. I mean, and it feels even more so. I guess it feels normal when it gets more dark when it hits the later hour. So in the past few days, I've went out walking, and if I don't get out in the morning, I'll go out in the evening. And last night, I got out walking a little bit later. I think it was by like 4:35 or whatever, and I was like, man, it's already getting darker. I looked at the clock, and it said the sundown was like 5:48 or something like that, and that's last time I checked it a month or so ago was 6. It was like almost 7 o'clock, and it's that quick of a switch.
1 week from now, that'll be 4:48.
Yeah,
ridiculous. We gotta get rid of this thing. We gotta get rid of daylight savings time, but you gotta get rid of daylight savings time and keep the time that's actually the daylight savings time, right? That's the trick. Is you gotta not only not get rid of it, but you gotta keep the summertime hours, right?
Yeah.
So that we get more daylight.
Yeah.
First world problems, I know. How much do you walk a day?
When I do those little ones, they're 2.5 miles.
2.5 miles?
Yeah, and when I
round trip, whatever.
Yeah, round trip. When I used to do the long path on that side and back, it would be usually about 4.5 or whatever. When I walk on the left side of the tracks, there's no quick way that you could turn off and go back and loop it back.
Right.
But if you're on the right side, there's like different openings in the gate and the fence that could take you through neighborhoods. So lately, I've been walking the path on the right side. So you go down, it's about 1.5 miles, and then you cook it up, and then you loop it back or whatever.
Every day?
This week I have every day.
Nice, man.
Been trying, you know.
Respect.
I mean, that's the thing. This job is so sedentary, you know, that honestly, like, you know, you need to get that, you know, they try to tell you you need like 30 minutes of like, even if it's that low intensity, just some sort of cardio, some sort of movement. And now with the weather, I can't complain. Even when I'll still go out, the sun's still warm, I'll still have a sweat on when you get back or whatever. But yeah, just trying to get out and just do it. I mean, it's just so easy to just sit here and not do anything. But after like some of the work day when my head's just like I need to clear my head, I'll literally put tunes in my ears and just walk. And since it's a nice little round trip path, 2.5 takes me like 50 minutes or something, 45, 50 minutes. I usually walk about 19 to 19.5 minute miles, something like that.
Yeah, so just leisurely, but just get
nice
movement.
It's nice.
It,
just getting some steps and just get some movement.
Respect.
To help to burn off this Taco Bell that I ate last night.
Respect, man. All right, so respect that. Respect this too. I walked in this morning. Why did it open the same page again?
Is it my favorite fighter? It must be creased.
Right.
You creased it now to that page.
So this is hilarious. All right. Well, first of all, I just want to give respect. You picked up some books that Tom Gerbasi put together during his life, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we talked about his passing and how upset we were, and what a legend he was in the game. But a lot of people might not realize that he put together. If you've ever seen the UFC encyclopedias, and they did a couple versions of them.
Yeah.
UFC, a visual history encyclopedia. Like, I mean, really like cool stuff documenting the early days. And, you know, a lot of it is information that you can find on the internet as well.
Yeah.
But having it in a nice book form, coffee table book.
I was going to say, it's
like
I think this is what people would call like a coffee table, right? Because they're bigger than the normal. Like I was looking over at my not very big bookshelf, and I was like, where am I going to put those things? Because I don't even think they would fit in one of the sections. But they're nice, they're huge, but they're perfect to like, if you want to just lay them out someplace. If you had a coffee table, which I don't have, you would put them on, you know, that sort of thing. But
they're really nice. A lot of great photography in them. You know, a lot of Josh Hedges stuff in there.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Some really cool things. So I love both those. But this one had actually come out very, very recently. The 100 greatest fighters in boxing history. So this is the first time I'm seeing it. So this is something that, man, if you're interested in boxing. You know, I would say maybe similar in that vein, and that it's, you know, just probably information that is readily available on the internet or whatever. But it's all together, and it's a nice collection. You know, you flip through George Foreman, Oscar De La Hoya, but for whatever reason,
it's like a visual encyclopedia. You know, like it's nice something you could put in your hand. But it's the pictures too that just look incredible.
Oh, so especially some of these old school fighters,
paper,
really cool stuff.
But you found your favorite fighter in there.
But this is your favorite fighter, clearly. And obviously it is open to this page twice, so you must have been you've been utilizing the. But the legendary Nigerian boxer Dick Tiger, the great Dick Tiger.
And it's literally now you just creased it to that page. So anybody that comes and opens that up is going to find the legendary Nigerian boxer.
Now look, the legendary Nigerian boxer Dick Tiger was 60-9. He had 19 losses. And he did have 27 knockouts among his 60 wins. Now, he did win. He was a world champion at both middleweight and light heavyweight, and he inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1991. Nice. So there's a lot of greatness there.
Does it show his
I
nickname?
like to think.
What would Dick Tiger's nickname be?
I like to think that Tom Gerbasi put this one in just for guys like me and you. I bet Tom Gerbasi had his list of 100 greatest fighters, right?
He's like,
and
oh yeah.
Dick Tiger
Can't
was
leave
like
Dick Tiger
105, 107. You know, he was
Wasn't
there.
there Dick Trickle?
Dick
racer?
Trickle is,
you know. So they're like same thing when somebody goes back and does
Dick
a
Trickle
NASCAR anthology. They're like, Dick Trickle's gonna be
gotta
in
have
there.
Dick Trickle in there. I mean, Dick Trickle. That's. I mean. He's got some balls, you know what I'm saying? Because he could be Richard Trickle, you know what I mean? But he's like, no, this dick is trickling, you know what I mean? But old Dick Tiger, thank you, Tom Gerbasi. I think you did that just for me and Coke Coffee. But that's cool of you to order. You're always good about that stuff, man. Trying to help support the cause.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a little thing, but yeah, and it was just nice too. I feel like we lost some other really good people recently too, and it was just like it just got me thinking. Then I was browsing the old Amazon, and it popped up, and I was like, dude, just pull the trigger.
That's cool,
and I'm
man.
glad I finally got him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when I got some time to just kind of figure through them. Now I just need to get a coffee table to put them on.
Well, they're doing good on your desk table here, right here.
There you go.
They look good. Nice having a collection. I actually have both those encyclopedias in my collection as well. I might have to get this boxing one as well, even though I'm not the biggest boxing aficionado, just to support
both.
the man, Tom
That's
Gerbasi.
it was just for Tom, so yeah.
100%. All right, listen, we will talk about UFC Fight Night 263, and I saw that you were at the media day yesterday. Obviously got a chance to watch all those interviews, and we'll talk about some of the things that happened and unfolded there, because I do think, actually, I know anytime you have a fight night after pay-per-view, everybody goes, oh, I'm not watching this card, but it's actually, there's some good matchups on it.
People are so universally, for some reason, shitting on this card. I don't know if they're just because
looks fun on paper.
I do too. I don't know if this is just carryover, angst about 321 and people, knowing that we're getting near the end of the year and they know that 322 is coming up or other thing.
Can't wait for.
But for people, just are universally shitting on the card. Even in the chat, people were sort of giving it grief. I don't really read the chat when I'm streaming. I mainly just monitor it to see if somebody's like, oh, the audio's out or whatever, so I'll do whatever. So I don't really monitor it and read it, but I did see it quite a few times, people complaining about the card. And a lot of people that watch those media days, they're not like casuals.
Yeah.
They're
if you're
like
tuning into a media day, you're not a casual.
You're pretty hardcore,
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised. And I mean, and I saw some people kind of justifying certain fights on the card. It's not their job to defend the card.
Sure.
Not that it's like our job to defend the card, but I was just a little surprised, and I was like, man, where is this coming from? Maybe it's just the just burnout overall from so many cards. You often see this is the time of year where people start putting in the memes. I saw a meme with Dana the other day, and someone was like, quality cards versus a card every weekend or whatever, and they had two different versions of Dana. And I'm paraphrasing, it wasn't quite that, but it was along those lines where one was showing like a happy, another was just like the greedy, whatever, like one was happy and content, and one was like a greedy, like evil picture or whatever. It was just like
it's a weird thing, right? Because you do need. I mean, the more cards, the better. That's more opportunities for fighters. Exactly.
I'm like, you guys.
It's just
every card cannot be the best card in the world, or you're only going to have 13 cards in a year.
I think it's a situation where, like, it's especially, I think, the older fans, maybe even more so than the newer fans, where it's like you're used to watching every card and watching every fight, and you know what I mean, like. I'm a hardcore. I watch all of it, man. And again, I mean, I'm that guy. I mean, I'm still that guy. I watch as much as possible. Anything that's on, man, like everything that's on Fight Pass, everything. I mean, I watch everything because I'm just trying to, especially now in my newer role. Now I'm trying to. Is there talent out there that we need to be looking at, or
who am I gonna cherry pick?
Yeah, right. Talent out of, or hey, is there something an organization is doing in terms of production or in terms of approach to, like, man, we could mimic that, right? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you want to see who's doing things better than you, and what could you learn, and what can you tweak, all that stuff. So I watch all of it, but I do think as just a fan, you just have to understand, like, you're not going to be able to watch every fight, but that's not a bad thing. The more opportunities these people have to fight, the more people that, as a whole, can do this for a living. Right. If you only had when people say, oh, it's watered down, you are right. If the UFC said, you know what, next year, 18 cards. That's all we're doing. We're doing 18. Even hell, if they said, you know what, we're doing 24. We're doing 2. We're doing 2 a month. That's it. Those cards would be inherently better. There's no question about it. But guess what? Now half the roster doesn't have jobs anymore because we talked about it before. If you want to figure out how big the roster is, it's not that hard to do. Just take the number of cards, multiply by the number of fights, multiply it times 2 because there's 2 people in each fight, and then figure out how many times a year you want somebody to fight. I know for a while the UFC used to use about 2.5 as the number because you would, but then you have to add in because you get people who fall out. So now you make it about 3.5 because you need some buffer. So it's all a math equation, is what I'm saying. It's literally that easy to figure out how many people you need on your roster to be able to contractually fill it. If you eliminate the cards, you eliminate those opportunities. So you just took all that money off the table, all those jobs off the table, and then what's the trickle down of that? This is the same thing if you think about it, if you're an old school fan, women's MMA. Why was women's MMA years behind men's MMA? Because there wasn't any place for them to make money. So why would you So why would you train? Like, why would you be in the gym every day going, you know what? I'm gonna be the best I can. Really? Where are you gonna fight? I don't know, but I just have a belief that it's gonna work out for me. No, you wouldn't do it. So it didn't make sense. So I don't know. All the people that complain about the watered down cards, I get it. But watered down cards is actually a good thing for the entire industry. I mean, saying watered down, that doesn't sound like a good thing. But I mean, having these number of fights is a very good thing, not only for the people involved, but also people that want to be involved.
Yeah, and you think about the Contender Series is one of the biggest sort of prospect finding new talent platforms that these fighters are getting to do. And you brought up women's MMA. There were like 2 women's fights out of 50.
That was crazy.
51 fights that took place this year. There were 2 women's fights.
That's wild.
So if women aren't getting on there and they're not getting on the UFC, the regular other ones, where are they ever going to, know? So like as a whole, I mean, I think the female fighters, they could be petitioning like, Dana, why aren't we fighting? Sean, Mick, why aren't we fighting? I get it, whatever. But also too, maybe puts that fire under like, well, when I do get that opportunity, I better not stink it up. I think the guys probably do that same sort of thing because they realize, hey, like getting on these cards, you got to do what you got to do, or they're going to choose somebody else for these exciting cards. So not that fighting's already tough enough. It's not like you have to go out and get a finish. You want to go out there and put something on, but I think a lot of people have always criticized women's MMA as not being as exciting as the men's ones and just thinking they didn't have the same talent level. It's not a skill thing because the women are just as skilled, and if anything else, the skill level that they've done now is night and day from when it started. And for people to still say, oh, well, they're just not the same. It's just like, bro, you're not paying attention to the ones. But granted, yes, I mean, you have some of these crazy fights that the guys that got awarded from the Contender Series, we saw some fights like that from the women. That's why the loser got a contract as well, and like you try to tell me that wasn't easily one of the best fights you've seen, and it was 2 women that were in there.
That was an amazing fight.
It was incredible. So, but yeah, I mean, like, you need the fights or you're never going to get this new talent's never going to have a chance to do anything. And you look at Bellator's gone. PFL's cutting its roster, maybe they're grand, whatever, but they're focusing so much on international stuff. That's great for the international artists, but what about the people here? So you need to have these fights.
Need to have them.
CFFC going out doing this thing. Tough Enough. We're seeing guys that were veterans at the UFC fighting out Tough Enough, which I never thought I would see the day that Tough Enough now, you go to a Tough Enough card and you're seeing like 4 to 5 UFC vets on a Tough Enough card. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Our guy Justin James, it looks great to see him back.
Kai Kamaka was on there. Some other ones. Canuto fought, even though he's just new, but people that are paying attention to the UFC Fight Pass
he's on
and
UFC
all the other
BJJ,
stuff. He's doing the UFC BJJ
enough.
and other stuff. And I want to say there was another fighter or two. Diego Brandao,
the champion.
I mean, like, bro, like, it's incredible. But the thing is, like, fighters need to be fighting, so they need to be events for fighters to get their fights in, So while this card is not a pay-per-view worthy or whatever, but it is a worthy platform, and these fighters are going to go out. But I think it's a good card. But
I
just going back, I was just really surprised that,
It just, I think what happens is I think fans have to understand that it's not the way it once was, and you can still be a hardcore fan and not watch every fight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like, somebody's like a Lakers fan, I don't think they have to watch every regular season game, every quarter of every regular season game to still be a hardcore. You tune in, you catch your highlights. When they're playing, when they're playing the Celtics or when, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can be a fan of another sport and not feel like you have to watch every single game. And I think that's the thing with fighting is that, like, look, if you have time and you just want to throw it on in the background and you can, like, please do. Like, obviously, these guys and these men and women, they're the next crop, et cetera, et cetera. But you can still be hardcore and not watch everything. but you don't have to shit on the product. You know what I mean? And just be like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, dude, this is how they're making a living, man. This is how they're making a living. By the way, good time at Tough Enough, right? It had been
really, really fun.
Really good time, man. We got to go out and see that. That was great because the UFC was obviously on in the morning, so which was great. I know you and I both got up first thing in the morning, watched UFC 321.
Yep.
By the time UFC 321 was off air, we could get all the work done that needed to be done post-fight, and then we got to go check out Tough Enough. They were at the Pearl at the Palms. Obviously, I've known the Tough Enough crew forever and ever, worked for them for a long, long time. But now that I'm no longer working with them, I can actually go kind of watch some fights and just hang out. And obviously, you and I got a chance to do that. It was great. Saw a lot of – obviously, the time you're at Tough Enough here in Vegas, you're going to see a lot of people that, around town, the fight community in Vegas. But man, it had been – in fact, I don't know if I'd ever – I'm sure I did at some point. I was going to say see a fight at the Pearl of the Palms as a fan.
Yeah.
The Pearl of the Palms, man, they still call it the Pearl. They still call it the Pearl. It hasn't changed its name. I love that venue, dude.
It's cool.
That venue is a great venue, man.
So, I mean, it's compared to other venues, it feels very small and sort of intimate, but that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Like the cage is right in your face. There's not a bad seat in the house. Yeah, it's just in your face. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of memories, a lot of history from events that we did with the UFC there. Yeah, so it was fun. It was fun to just kind of.
If you can ever see a fight there, go see a fight there. If there's ever a music act that's playing the Pearl at the Palms, that you like, great place to see a concert because again, there's not a bad seat. It feels like every seat in there, you're like damn near on the stage. You know what I mean? Like there is not a bad seat.
I don't know what the seating capacity is in there. It can't be too great.
No, I remember when the UFC used to do like tough finales and stuff there, the sellouts would be announced with like 1,800 people. Now that's maybe a little bit more if you were doing a concert because you don't have the cage and you could put some standing room only or whatever, but 2,000 or less for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a great venue.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
So, like I said, I do want to get in UFC Fight Night 263, but you talked about the kind of lingering funk after UFC 321.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be. It is a heavyweight title fight. As John Anik said on the broadcast, this is the first time a title fight has ended in a no contest, which is actually pretty wild when you think about it, man. Of all the title fights that have happened in UFC history, none have ended in no contest. That's pretty wild, just statistically speaking. So I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised that the discussion has lingered so long. But I don't know, man. I'm really surprised at this whole backlash against Tom Aspinall, that he's some kind of quitter, that he had an obligation to continue on. I don't know, man. It's shocking. I mean, I saw his dad come out and say that, he still
can't really see out of an eye.
Still can't really see out of an eye. So is that now? Here's the part that I do admit. So, if you say, did Tom Aspinall quit? If you say that he did, I don't guess you'd be wrong in that, right? Because it's not like he was praying like, doctor, I can't see, but please let me go on. Like, I need this fight. Like, I need this. Like, I need oxygen in my lungs. You know what I mean? Like, no, he did make it clear, like, I can't see, like, I'm done. So I guess you could say he quote-unquote quit and be factually correct. But when you're talking about eyesight, now, it was funny, and because I said we want to talk about the media, like watching Tim Garimbo. The close, if anybody didn't watch the closing seconds of Tim Garimbo's media day when he's like, I have kids, and I have to feed my kids, and I'll kill a man if I have to. I was like, God.
That was not that wasn't the answer I was expecting to get from the question.
Right? Because he said,
I was asking about the pick on the welterweight fight coming up.
I do not care about that fight. I only care about my fight. I will kill a man if I have to. I was like, and he was serious too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I love when my outlet puts that tweet but doesn't put my name on it.
Oh, they didn't tag you.
But then others do it.
I see other people get tagged
all the effing time. But that's how my outlet treats me.
That's just your job.
That's just my outlet.
You don't get part of it. That was intense, man. Yeah, they should have tagged you on that.
I was like, bro, it was.
But I love to, because but you know what? This is how you know that Cole Coffey's a veteran of the game, because some people probably would have felt like if you were new to the game, you hadn't done thousands of interviews, you might be like, I don't want to say intimidated, but a little bit like, oh, this dude's pissed, or this. You were like, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm feeling that one, bro. That was good. I was like, that's a veteran right there. But I was watching the same thing because it was like something switched in him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I put that in context to say, like, I'm sure for most fight fans, you want a fighter to be like, can't see out of my left eye right now, but I gotta feed my kids tonight. I will kill you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, yes, doctor, I can't see, and you better see yourself out of the cage right now, because you know what I mean? Like,
because when you put it like that, when Tom says I can't see out of the eye, at that point it's the doctor stopping the fight. It's not Tom quitting or whatever.
Right.
Tom relayed that I cannot see out of my eye, and they ask, can you continue? I cannot see out of my eye. Doctor says this fight cannot continue. So
that's true. He never said I can't fight.
Yeah,
but
he said,
we all know what it means.
But people do like that. But if you want to go if you look at the final line on Tapology wherever, it doesn't say Tom quit. It says Doctor stoppage.
Doctor stoppage. But I just don't think people get it. Like, I really don't. Because, again, like, I broke my arm, but I'm carrying on. Like, that's a pain thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a pain thing that you can deal with.
Unless it's like a foot, your bone's coming through the leg and you can't actually stand. I think a lot of them would try.
Right.
But when they stand on it, they realize, oh, shit.
Oh, my bone. Yeah. Seeing your bone sticking through your skin,
I would pop
you're pretty
down
much done at that point.
I would pop down and start yelling like a fucking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude.
We've seen that.
Bro, I mean, it's the difference in reactions, because I was cage side for Anderson Silva. I was cage side for Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, the jarring nature of one of the greatest athletes to ever compete, to be just screaming in pain, that was jarring. And then for Weidman to just basically like be in shock and just be like, I'm not moving. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like calm, like ice. It's too totally.
I still remember that stretcher when they because I was in the back when they stretchered Anderson, because we followed it back there, and the stretcher going past to the ambulance and just hearing that, just his still like screams of pain.
Yeah,
the whole thing, like,
it was rough.
It was fucking gnarly, dude.
It was rough. So,
but yeah, I mean, well, even when I was asking the fighters yesterday, to see is it unfair, because it does feel unfair that people are coming at him, and I still love the part that Steve Garcia was like, bro, if you get jabbed in your eye and you can't see out of one eye and you're driving, you can't drive. You pull over.
Right.
You pull over and you wait and you're like, I can't see.
Right.
I'm going to stop. I'm not going to drive. But try imagine that when there's a man on the other side coming at you wanting to kill, but you think I should still continue?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And I think too, and I think that's probably such an important thing of it too. Like, and I don't know if people are misunderstanding that. Like, it's one thing if like it's a little blurry. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. Like, I can see. It's a little blurry, but I can see. To have nothing there, number one, as you said, at a competitive disadvantage, slightly. But just, I don't know if and it was funny because I know Steve is like, have you ever been poked in the eye? You're like, yeah, I have. It sucks. He was probably expecting you to be like, I don't know. No, I haven't. But you're like, no, I have, bro. Bro, come on, man. I'm Kimbo Slice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Steve Garcia, don't come throwing that lazy leg kick is all I'm saying, bro. You'll taste the wrath. But if you have ever been poked in the eye to the point that you can't see, like, it's the weirdest thing, because there's no register. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, your eyes open, your eyes open, but nothing is at all. So again, it's not like it's blurry. That, to me, not only is it a competitive disadvantage, it is so jarring and like a mind
it's a sensory overload, because your body's trying to correct for something that doesn't exist, and then you're just like walking with all of a sudden, if you just close one eye and you just try to move around and walk, is difficult, let alone trying to be competitive, and let alone trying to defend yourself and be offensive at the same time. Like, that's when it would almost feel like it was. The only time that should actually happen is if you really are fighting for your life.
Yes.
If something happens and you have to fight for your life. This is not that.
Yep.
This is a competitive entertainment sport. There was no reason for him to take himself into that area, because his life was not really in danger. It would have been more in danger by continuing to fight a man that's literally trying to maim you or hurt you with one eye not being able to see. Like, that's just stupid. It's just stupid. And to think, for people to say, such a letdown, you're forgetting this is still our entertainment. They're fighting for our entertainment. I'm sorry that your entertainment didn't go the way that it happened, but at the end of the day, these are competitors that we're supposed to care about and care about their well-being. They are fighting for our entertainment. So if you don't appreciate what they're doing, then I get it why you're just like, you just think of them as, just participants that you have no connection to. But this is a sport that we respect these people that have done it. We make our lives because of the effort that they do. So I respect and appreciate them. I want them to be okay.
Yeah.
So when you see something like that happen, and, I felt zero inkling of like, I'm sure I was like, wow, that was a very crazy way for a pay-per-view to end.
I felt like it was a letdown, of course. You're like, oh, man, because this fight's shit. Like, oh, my God.
There was a lot of questions that were starting to, like, I mean, like, if any, I mean, Cyril came out
looking good,
looking really good, and Tom looked like he had been away for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but if anything else, Cyril never got a chance, and we talked about it before. Cyril never got a chance to show his shit in the Jones fight. I feel like this fight he was showing his shit. He got his chance to do it, and it's just unfortunate that the poke happened because it was looking good for Cyril. Like, you know, I mean, like we were waiting to see how Tom was going to finally start answering the questions. And but yeah, Cyril looked good, and I hate people to just say like, oh well, you know, Tom didn't want to be in there. It wasn't going the way he is. Of course, it might not have when he was, but we were so early on in the fight. You had plenty of time to make corrections and for him to like get acclimated to what was going on.
Yeah.
And who knows if what the pace that Cyril was starting to push was ever going to last. And once Tom starts landing some stuff, things change. So I mean, there's a lot of variables that could have went whatever. Yeah, but it was very, very interesting.
You don't think Tom Aspinall has ever lost a round? And I mean, he's had losses in his career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And in the gym, he's had losses. I'm sure he's been. You know, that notion that like, oh, he was like looking for a way out, man. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And I mean, and as long I want his eye to be good, as long as his eye comes back and it's 100% or as close as I guess it's ever going to be. If it's at the point where he's still having vision loss, at this point you're thinking there's probably some permanent loss or something going on. I hope not. But to the point of what everybody's saying, things are going to be different. He got to see a little bit of what Cyril was going on. So if you thought you trained hard enough last time in the break, and then you started seeing how this is going, you have to ramp it up.
Got to step up.
And on Cyril, just stay the course. But, you know, like now they know.
Yep.
They got to see a little bit, you know.
That's the only silver lining out of it is that, like, now I want to see that fight even more than I wanted to see it the first time around. And so, all right, I know in the aftermath, I think, like, Michael Bisping came out, was championing right away, like, dude, let's do this in November, December. Clearly with the eye not healing up as quickly as we hoped. I mean, because I think a lot of people just assumed, like, oh, well, Tom was going to go to the back, he was going to blink out a little bit, and everything was going to be fine. You know what I mean? That's not the case. So November, December looks unlikely. But I would say that was probably never possible anyway. I'm assuming even if Tom had gone back in 5 minutes after the fight, had said, you know what, I'm good, let's do this. Now you got to think from a business perspective, right? That fight is bigger than it used to be. You want to give that to your new partners at Paramount, right? Like there's no incentive really to just load up. Now again, I don't think the UFC wants to leave ESPN in a lame duck type situation where like look at 322, it's stacked, you know what I mean? Look at 323 coming together nice. They don't want to leave ESPN on a whimper and not put anything together. But if there's a reason to save it till January or February, might as well, right?
I mean, they're still going to get their contract obligations. I mean, like, there's no bad blood there. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's not like he has to stack the cards and throw it on whatever. I think if anything else, we're so close. It's getting into November right now, and if his eye is still that thing, I feel like we would be rushing it back.
Yep.
You know, you need time. I mean, granted, it's easy for them to stay in shape or whatever, but, you know, it's not like they're doing massive weight cuts or anything like that as heavyweights, but still – you want to make sure the eye's good and that he's cleared to actually even start having, you know, contact. Who knows what the docs are going to say at this point? I guarantee contact for 60 days at least is not even a thing. I think at this point they probably can't even rule on it because they don't even know the severity of what's going on in the eye. I'm sure they have to make some sort of decision and do some sort of test, and then, you know, depending on that. But, yeah, I don't see where he's even going to be allowed to have contact on that probably before this year's over. So then you have that time when he's finally able to. Then he's got to make sure he's got to be ready. So then you're talking another month or two. You know, it's probably going to be in the first quarter. But that's the sad part is that we wanted to see this fight. We want to do whatever. The heavyweight division still is back at this. I feel like we're back waiting again, you know, to kind of have these questions answered and stuff. But that's okay. Shit happens, you know. I mean, luckily, that's not the only division. There's other fun divisions. There's other fun fights.
And that happens, right? So, like, when that's a great thing. When one division's kind of in a bad place, you'll find another one that's on fire. You know what I mean? You kind of wrote to – what'd you think about John Jones with the
Oh, the duck with the belt or
horse
what?
with oh you didn't, did you see, oh you were out last night. Spade says I got you kind of early this morning after Mr. Vegas was going a little hard last night.
I was watching a town hall, company town hall, so I haven't looked at the Twitterverse.
So Dirty Boxing is this week in I believe it's Nashville. I believe it's where they're at, Tennessee.
Something like that. Yeah.
I believe it's
today. Is it today?
Tonight, yeah, it's tonight. Well, John Jones rolled into the weigh-ins last night on a horse with an eye patch.
He's funny.
Just troll. You knew he was going to troll after all that, man. You knew he was going to
Well, it's just kind of silly. Like, bro, you could have easily fought this kid and just squashed everything. So why are you still giving your energy towards him, unless you're the one that's still not over it, Like, you're kind of leaving that door open for them to always constantly troll you. I would think the bigger thing would have just been not even to address it and just moved on, like, I know he's still trying to troll. You want to get on the White House card, or you want to blah, 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 blah. It's just like, come on, bro.
That's a good point.
Mourn your brother and just be cool for a minute, like, whatever. I guess maybe he's already beyond that. Now it's time back to be a troll.
Back to be a full-time troll. All right, as we say, UFC Fight Night 263 is this weekend. Steve Garcia versus David Onama in the main event. And as you said, I've seen this kind of I've seen it kind of universally panned, which I was a little bit surprised by because I'll be honest with you.
There's some odd little things. I mean, well, I guess the one oddest one is how can you have a top 5 ranked fight between where are the ladies at? Why am I not seeing?
Ketlin Vieira and Norma Dumont.
I had to scroll that far down on Tapology.
Have you
in the prelim?
Okay.
Ketlin Vieira and Norma Dumont, number 5 and number 4, are buried on the prelims. Like, it doesn't make any darn sense. They could have easily moved your boy Chuck Buffalo.
Oh, hey, right. You don't move Chuck Buffalo off the main
no,
card.
That's actually a good scrap. That's a good scrap. But there are fights that could be moved to make way for that fight. That's just strange. And that's one thing where I know people are like, why in the world would you have a number 4 and 5 buried in the prelims?
So I've noticed this a lot lately, and I haven't gone and like physically like done a check on. Have you noticed though? It seems like they're putting all the women's fights like early in the card. I mean, look, 3 of the first 4 fights of the night are women's fights.
Yeah,
and I feel like more often than not, if you go back through cards over the past few months, like all the women's fights of the night, obviously not like with the title fight this past week or whatever, but it feels like they stack them like early on the. It's like almost like.
They didn't always, though.
No, not always. I feel like it's been a
recent
phenomenon. I feel like it's been a recent phenomenon over the last few months, this year maybe, where it's like if there's women's fights, they're probably happening on the prelims. And you're all right. That is weird. I mean, that's number 3 versus number 4. I believe.
Is that the actual UFC rank? Because I was just going off what Tapology said. I don't know who they go with.
It's 3 versus 4.
Oh, that's right. They do their own now. There's 4 and 5. I see. That's Tapology's ranking.
I'd have to let me double check real quick. I know I'm more usually,
but still, it's strange. I mean, I get it. I mean, what would be the thinking of that? They think more eyeballs on people watching on the.
And I thought both of them were in the pound for pound ranking. I'm wrong. Only Ketlin Vieira is in the pound for pound list.
Interesting
for the women, but Norma's right outside of that. But yeah, I mean that's a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah, easily. Have you ever seen Alice Ardeleon's social media stuff?
No.
She's hilarious.
I've heard that. I haven't seen
she
it.
like finds like weirdly stuff that could be seen as like, and this is why I think I love it, oddly perverted, like if you look at it the right way. So and then she does like this funny face after it or something.
Oh,
like,
really?
like this
like a little innuendo there or whatever.
It's so funny, but she's hilarious. She's really, really funny. And I can't remember if I found her social media before or after I put together that she was a fighter. I can't remember, but she's really, really funny.
That's funny.
But that's the kind of thing, like, too, if somebody has a really good social presence, you want to put that fight in somewhere, where people are going to see it, the eyeballs. But granted, that as opposed to an actual number 1 contender fight, it's not like that is enough to push that fight higher, and she's not higher on the card. But to me is just odd in the sense of you have top ranked competitors. You would figure that they're on your main card or at least the featured bout, the featured prelim, or if anything else, it's just kind of like
that one does stand out as out of
I'm
place.
like,
That does seem weird.
what do they think about that? You're literally fighting for people that could be fighting, for the belt at some point, and you're buried 4 fights in from the top of the card. It's just a little strange, and I mean, I'd be interested to see why the matchmakers lean that way, unless there is something else that's just driving. Maybe, everything, that we've seen about video, and, anytime you work with a company that looks at numbers and stats, maybe it's a matter of people are complaining, saying, like, why are you putting these fights on the main card? Maybe a lot of people that are listening to this agree and say, like, yeah, I'd rather that not be on the main card. I'll stick them on the prelims. But once you start having rankings, and then at that point, rankings doesn't matter then. If you don't care that the rankings people are getting the better positioning on the card, then what's the point?
That is one that stands out of place, because and I'll tell you too. I mean, obviously, card construction. There's a lot of reasoning behind it sometimes, right? There's different reasons, different things. Whether it be broadcast deals, whether it be just the way the flow, the entertainment, etc. But yeah, so you look at Kelly Vieira, Norman Lamont, number 3 versus number 4. If the card stays in the order that it is right now, like the fight right after them is Dante Johnson making his UFC debut, and Cedricus Dumas, who we know what he's been. I mean, outside of the cage,
yeah, he's not a favorite. Yeah, he's not a favorite with people on the outside.
Arrests and terrible stuff outside.
Doesn't make any sense.
It is weird.
I mean, you look at some of the other cards. All right, we'll keep Chuck Buffalo. The Nascimento Durden fight's going to be a fun fight. Yeah. If I had to pick one, I would replace it. I know Temba's big with, there's people,
Oh, can't touch Jeremiah Wells, CFFC vet, bro. Can't move him off either.
No, it would be the Bulgarian Divide fight. Yeah, I would take that. I would swap that and make it like the featured prelim and put the ladies up in there. And they don't even need to be in that spot, but they should be in the main card. As respect to the rankings, they should be in the main card.
I agree.
And they're good fighters. It's going to be a fun fight, But the card itself is good. Like, I mean, it'd be interesting. I'm interested to see about the
contender fight on the prelims. That's how good it is. That's how good
it is. The Waldo Cortez Acosta Ante Delija. I mean, like, it was great hearing from him. It's funny because that's another one you would think about. Like, you do a lot of interviews. You never know what your sort of response. I didn't know what. I felt like he. Granted, it's being translated. But it felt like it was kind of like a little flat in some of the responses. But I was talking to Alex, and I was like, he came in out of order. So I'm swapping really quickly to find my little notes.
Ante or Waldo?
Ante.
Ante did.
And then I think I jumped into my Tom question too quick. And I think before I really got him a chance to open up. But then I didn't feel like he was, even by the end, it wasn't like he was like a big vocal words or whatever. And it was all being translated.
It's all being translated. He's not a
big long talker or whatever. So, but I remember I was asking Alex, I was just like, dude, did I go too quickly with the Tom thing? Because I know he was like, I'm glad you asked the Tom thing. I was like, I'm glad I researched a little bit before. I forgot about how they're each other's training partners. Right. So I was like, well, shit, I'll just ask him about the Tom thing. But I think I went into it too quick. I think it was like the second question I asked.
Well,
or whatever.
it was going to be asked. There's no question about it.
It was going to be asked.
So, all right. So, you talked about the heavyweight division kind of being on hold and that sort of thing. It is. So this fight, like for instance, okay, again, I like this fight. Well, by the way, Waldo Cortez is the English much improved.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I
don't know if we've ever spoken to him like that.
He's never spoken.
That's what I thought, right? I was like, am I crazy, guys? No. I was like, I don't remember him ever speaking like that.
I've never heard him speak that much English as he did. It's good, and I always feel, and I'll preface this by saying, I always feel guilty saying that because again, I don't feel like people have to learn English. Like I respect that there are other languages and cultures out there, and we could just as easily learn their language.
Yeah.
I understand that. But the majority of the fans are English speaking, and the big money is in the United States, so it just helps. Like,
and he said it himself.
English,
those were his words. That was his answer. He's like, I understand about the social media and trying to get out there. I was like, he understands it. It's not us saying that for him. He made that decision himself, and it was incredible.
So it's a fun fight, but it is so. Number one, any fight. I mean, this is 2 ranked heavyweights, right? So I mean, it's number 6 versus number 9. So not necessarily a number 1 contender fight, but you would think if 6 versus 9 compete, the winner would probably get like a top 5 guy. It could maybe be in a number 1 contender fight next. But obviously with what's going on in the heavyweight division, that puts the whole division on hold. So any ranked fight is not going to feel as important or as pressing because the championship is on hold. In Anthony's case, it's made worse by the fact that we know he won't fight Tom Aspinall. By the way, I want to find this real quick because you say Delia, right? Or how did you say his last name? Delija. On the broadcast, I've heard him say Delia.
It probably is.
But he says Delia. Hold on. What is I just want to play this because I heard this the other because I wasn't sure either because I've heard it multiple ways.
Yeah, granted, I didn't say his last name to him. I just said Ante.
Ante. Yeah, just say Ante. That's a safe way. But I'm going to put it out right here.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm saying it right.
Ante, Delia.
Delia.
Ante, Delia.
Yeah.
So he says Delia. So anyway, I've always.
How does the broadcast say it?
I think they usually say Delia.
Delia.
But just so you know, that's how he says it.
Delia.
So I don't know what they go with. But
He's
anyway,
a big man. I'll say it how he wants it.
he just Ante. Yeah, Harry says that's how I say it. Now he is a big dude. And he's dangerous. So anyway, it is made complicated by the fact that he won't fight Tom Aspinall. I do. And by the way, here's a I don't know, like a cultural thing or whatever. But like, you don't have to go out of your way to say you won't fight your teammate as early as Tom Aspinall did. I saw there was that quote that came out where he's like, "I'd sooner like drop the belt and fight Ante." Just say like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got to throw it out there that hard. That doesn't help the boss man. You know what I mean? They get a little...
True. We've seen that, but I mean, it comes differently when you're. I don't know. I feel like Tom is not as maybe at one time not loved as Aljo was when Aljo was trying to say it. I already felt like people were saying that Dana wasn't the biggest fan of him at that point, and then it didn't help him when he was starting to say like, I won't fight, Merab and blah blah blah, and Merab's like, I won't fight Aljo or blah 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 blah. This one, I mean, we've said it before. I appreciate when teammates look at it like that and they want to, what you go through. The day in, the day out in the training room. I can only imagine the bond. It's like a brotherhood. I mean, like I understand it. I respect it. I have no problem with it.
I have no problem with it either. To be honest, I do think that Dana is a little bit ridiculous in that situation where he's like, now. I'm all like I can't say and look we even see it on the developmental level on the regional scene where it's like man, we trained together one time. You trained together one time, like what are you talking about? You know what I mean? If it's your brother that you're in there blood, sweat, and tears every day with, you break bread at their house, you have dinner. I think that was even what Tom Aspinall said. Like if I've had dinner with you, or if I've had you over to my house, like I'm not fighting you. Like, that's fair.
These guys are like main training partners. I mean, like it's literally for a year and a half or whatever. They've been like the main training partners.
No, I think Dana's ridiculous in that one. I felt like for Tom to throw that out so early, like I felt like it already like put some stank on Ante. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, this dude's just getting here. He's just making his way, and now Dana's gonna look at him and be like, well, look at this schmuck right here. Like he won't even fight his training partner. So I was like, couldn't he have just been like, I don't envision a scenario in which we would need to fight. But that was,
he's just coming to the UFC right now. It would be great if that was a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when it happens.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I wish he would have handled it. But Tom was like, I'll give up the belt.
But we have seen guys literally. I mean, and especially too, if you're not living in the same place, and maybe it's like you have breaks of time where you're away from each other when you're not training. I can see where a fighter might be like, oh man, like. Why would they even say that? That's my boy. Why would he even say, like, we'll cross that bridge? Because I can see where some of them would take it as, like, you're kind of putting it out there that you would, Like, because if you don't see each other every day, and then when you see them, like, bro, I'd have to say whatever. But if it's like, if I don't see you for, like, 3 months, and you're like, hey, you did that one fucking interview, and you were like, hey, we'll cross that bridge.
What you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
I didn't even think that bridge existed, bro. I thought we agreed. There was no bridge.
There's no bridge. There's no materials laying on the ground even beside where the potential ground for the bridge would be.
That's true, too. So I guess staying true to yourself and staying true to your friend is probably the way to go.
You just nip it in the bud and just be like, I'm not gonna do it. I just know it, and especially if that's the kind of thing where if you've reached that connection and that bond with somebody that's been there in your highest of highs and your lowest of lows, it's not even a thing. The belt is not worth messing with that. Sort of thing. So for them, it's probably a non-issue, and we're like, oh, but money and blah blah blah. But some things are more important, for the right people. When you think about people in your life, they're more. What is more important than money? You can find money, you can earn money, you can lose money, you can spend money. But when you find those things that are truly valuable in life, that shit's priceless.
It's true, man.
You know.
Well said.
You know.
Well
but
said.
And
the other thing too that I think is always in situations like this, or just in all situations that have to do with MMA and fighting and all that, is always remembering that, like, dude, this is a short little portion of your life, man, and you're gonna have a whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So do you want to burn those relationships or those friends or whatever that may be part of your life for the rest of your life? Because this thing's only gonna be a really, really short time. You know what I mean? So I guess you're right. You know what? Then I've changed my Tom Aspinall. Props to you, bro. Props to you. You fucking stood your ground and you said what you believe in.
Even though, well, it's funny because you bring up the Dana thing, and I can't remember what the actual quote was, but it was something that I recently saw pop up somewhere else when it was dealing with Dana when he's talking about competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, his mindset, is just, destroy them. Literally destroy my competitor. So if you go through this life, or if you go through your career or whatever, and it's always you against the world, and it's a dog eat dog and blah blah blah, I can see where you don't think about that connection. You don't think about whatever. Dana, I think, thinks about a lot of things as, this is me building my company, and everybody else is just standing in the way, so I will destroy everyone so that my company can grow. As opposed to saying, even though he has some of these characters in his life, the Lorenzo, the Fertittas,
I was just thinking,
the Ari Emanuels and stuff like that, the people that there are some relationships that I don't think he would try to do that to those individuals, because those individuals literally made him able to do. But very few people, I think, reach that level with Dana. So I think it's hard for him to comprehend other people that are working to build something up that, he has those people that he would not try to burn. Like, if you said, Dana, I have a money making thing, but hey, we're gonna have to burn the Fertittas a little bit.
I don't know what the right. I was trying to figure out in my head what the right scenario would be. But if you laid it out like, hey man, there's one way for this to work. You've got to fucking bury Lorenzo Fertitta.
Yeah,
he's gonna be like,
fuck you.
I'm out. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
So I think it exists for him, but I think in his general mindset, he doesn't have those people that he can comprehend that stuff. He sees like, well, bro, you got to dig yourself up to get to this place. Yeah. But if he would have did that to the Fertittas, he would never been where he is now.
It's true.
So, but I get it. I get it in his typical mindset of just a fighter. When you're trying to build, it's you against everybody at the end of the day. But to a fighter, the people that make you who you are, there's something different there. It's a different breed. I mean, like, I can imagine even soldiers and people that have been in war together, they know that they can always go back to those people, and there's a bond that can't be broken by whatever shit. Women can come in your life, men can come in your life, all these people can come in your life, but there's those bonds that certain things just can't be broken, And I think for these people training, whatever, it's the same thing that people like go to war with somebody, there's a bond that just can't be broken. And I respect people that will value the bond over something material that you can, like I said, you can make money many ways. And at some point for the bulk of your life, it's not going to be fighting. So, why burn those bridges, like you said? Why burn those relationships that could be, much more valuable throughout the rest of your life, So
tune in for some mixed martial arts talk, but stick around for the life lessons. You know what I mean? Stick around for the life lessons.
Mr. Vegas' life lessons. I'll tell you the life lesson. Don't go to Taco Bell at 1:30 in the morning. And if you do, I at least did better decisions. I only got like 3 hard tacos and a burrito. But I was like, what happened to those 12 packs or those cases? She's like, we still got them. I was like, don't say that because I don't want it. I don't want it. I was just like, I was staring at the menu and it is so different. And I was just like, where is everything?
You were feeling good asking about the briefcase. Where's the
what they used to call it? Crave case? No, the crave case was White Castles.
Oh,
but
man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, let's go. Main event real quick. Did you have a pick? By the way,
Garcia.
Went Garcia. I like. By the way,
but Onama, man, he's looking sharp, man. I think it could be. It's literally. I think it's pretty close to pick him. But I liked Garcia. I mean, he's got great takedown defense. Neither guy is going to really be taking the takedowns, even though there are some submissions on Onama's record, but they're early on. This is going to be both guys want to knock each other out. I think as the fight goes further on, and I credit the Winklejohn team behind Garcia, if there's some legendary masterminds that can put some strategy, that team is fantastic. So, and Garcia, man, he's, when you see him in person, he's bigger than he. Like I watch him on TV all the time, and I don't. He doesn't look as big. But when you see him in person,
there's something about his look that doesn't look that, but he is.
He's a big boy,
and he can crack. I like to, and he's got a little edge to him, boy. I love. Yep. He's like, we gotta get this division. Volk's over here just cooking too much. Like,
he was the perfect dude to end the media day. I loved it. He had a great energy. Came in there and maybe just known that he was the last one. But I said the same thing to Alex. I was like, that was awesome. I was like, that was a fun interview. He just had great personality. He's not a great way to end it.
He's not over the top, but he's fun. Yeah. And he's like, I think there was one that was just like, Onama was here earlier. He said he wants to just stand and bang or whatever. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
I just love that. Like, all right, let's do that then. You know what I mean? Like, he's fun and his style is fun. You know what I mean? So that's why.
And good for both those guys. They're finally getting a main event. There's a good names.
People that were like, dude, this is guys that have worked hard and they're here. I did like the cameo appearance from Yusuf Zalal as well.
Oh my
Alex
God.
Buchanan through
How
Yusuf.
hilarious. The fact that Yusuf all right, people. So this is the media room. There's probably 7-8 rows of tables from up where the front dais is, and we were in the very front row. Yusuf is at the very, very back, and when Alex asked that, Yusuf started losing his mind. He's literally in the back, but when it came across the screen, the stream, it was still so perfectly loud. It was hilarious. Even our Slack channel at Junkie was just blowing up. They were like, what the fuck?
If you guys didn't see this clip, so Alex Buchanan asked David Onama, he's like, how great is it to be in a main event? And he's like, are you surprised that you got in the main event before your guy Yusuf back there? And Yusuf from the back just started screaming like, F you, man. And Yusuf,
he came up afterwards at
Yusuf
the end.
Is hilarious. I saw he was talking to you. Like, that wasn't me.
He started coming up. He was like, I was like, no, that was Alex. He was like, why you got to do that, man?
Yusuf Zalal is he is so funny, man. He's
got that Chris Rock energy. Like when he starts getting like really, his voice gets super high pitched, and he's just got this like just enthusiastic that I can't not smile when he just gets on these rambles, man. But yeah, that was. Oh, man, credit to Alex. I laughed my ass off. We had a really good laugh about that. But, yeah, Yusuf was great sport about it. But, yeah, just hearing those guys laugh and just chat, man, was so much fun.
And I think that's going to be an absolute banger. Heavyweight, which way did you go there?
I went D'Elia.
D'Elia?
D'Elia.
That's the way he says it.
Well, D'Elia.
I am interested to see how they say it on broadcast because I've always thought it was D'Elia or Delia.
Yeah, I was leaning Cortez Acosta at first, but, man, Ante's the real deal. But, man, I'm just – sometimes teams – follow suit, and I just felt with that weird shit that happened with Tom, I'm like, man, don't be like some weird like team curse where like some weird shit shenanigans or whatever. But I went Ante on that one. I'm gonna give him that I thought he was a stud over in PFL, but man, Waldo is a stud as well. I could be wrong, but I leaned Ante on it, and I'm hoping I'm right. We're getting near the end of the year. I only got a one pick lead on the staff picks, so all these matter. I haven't seen what Bond's picks are. I think he was waiting to see until I put mine out. But yeah, I went Ante, but man, I could be wrong on that one. I could be wrong.
It's a tough one. I feel like I definitely like I have probably undervalued Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Yep.
Like I just feel like it's like the rise has been almost like too fast. Like he's not really number 6 in the world right now, but like the results are there, and he had the 5 straight wins. So I've had a hard time wrapping my head around him. But Ante's dangerous.
I mean, I just felt like Sergey Pavlovich, who beat Waldo in his last one in unanimous decision. I just feel like Ante and Sergey are very, very similar. Similar body styles, similar fight styles, and I think if Ante follows that game plan and just kind of swarms a little bit and doesn't give him a chance to kind of keep that distance and use the speed, even though Waldo he does like those counter strikes and stuff, but I think if he doesn't try to just make it a boxing match and let's just stand at a distance and see who can throw the biggest haymakers or whatever, I think he has the path. I think the groundwork's been laid to how you do beat him. But we'll see. It could be completely wrong. I mean, you can go with the game plan and you get hit once. And you can be
it doesn't matter what the game plan is.
Yeah.
I'm going to homer for Jeremiah Wells, obviously CFFC vet, but I got to say, man, I mean, obviously Tim McGrimbo, his story's out there. It's amazing. But, man, his kind of just opening up and talking about why he looked so bad in that last fight. And, it was, broken bone, wasn't supposed to fight, and then just talked about, realizing the changes and what need to be done. And then, like we said, like we were talking about earlier on, him flipping that switch and being like,
It's incredible.
It's
I did lean his way.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
his
you.
mindset. Again, we've credited fighters that are willing and open to kind of share things and really give that window to their thoughts and what they're going through. And he's another one that just, I feel he bears it all and with no shame, and he literally just speaks from the heart, and I find that so respectful. I just love everything about it. And then when he switched it, I was just like, and then when I said great answer, I meant it, because I literally was hoping to trying to get a soundbite and just hear something about the thing, but I liked what he brought out even more so, and that was just him wanting to kind of just explain where his mind was, and I was like, this was awesome.
I love it.
I love it.
That's you're so right about that. Is just when people speak from their heart, don't hold anything back. They're open and honest, because I think to me that's what. Again, and I've talked about this over the years, one of the reasons I love the sport so much is, the actual fighting, but B, it's just like everything that it takes to be successful. Like this, you have to bear yourself, the sacrifice, the journey, the mental challenge of it, like all that stuff appeals to me. Like everybody that gets in there, and every single person that steps into the UFC cage, like they're a hero in a lot of ways, and just what they do to get there. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible, like the sacrifice it takes to, and the mentality and the fortitude. And so when somebody can talk about the challenges and the dark spots and how they get through it, I think it's something we can all learn from. I mean, obviously not the same thing. You can relate to that. Like, damn, and not that you're going to sit there, well, Timba did it, I can do it, but it's just a reminder. Even Timba Grimbo talking about the Mamba mentality from Kobe and how that inspired him. Same thing, where you're just like that mentality of understanding, like, bro, no matter how hard it is, like you can do it. Just stay on it, don't give up. 1% better every day. Change it, move forward. That's inspiring.
I mean, I'll tell you. Going into media day, I knew it was going to be slim pickings. I knew that's why when I was doing like the research beforehand, a lot of times if I know there's a lot of journalists, I don't have to do research. Right. I don't have to come up with questions. I don't have to do whatever. And I know some people can consider, oh man, it sucks. Here's another media. I know a lot of media days that don't go, people that don't go and they just don't whatever. But then when you go and then you're rewarded, at the end of the day, I was thinking about yesterday. I was like, we had to interview 6 fighters. Nobody really else is there. But I was like, I got to interview 6 fighters and got to have like really in-depth like conversations with people and got to see some like really thought-provoking stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. At the end of the day, I was like, I wasn't bitter at all. I was like, I was really grateful just for the fact of like, because at first going into it, I was like, nobody's going to be there. There's another media day, but it could have been worse. I probably wouldn't say that if there were 12 dudes. And I was like, that sucked. My brain's fried. But going in there, I just felt afterwards, I was like, this was awesome. I was grateful for the fact that I was like, I'm glad I went there, and I'm glad I had a chance and an opportunity that I think a lot of people would love to have. Just sit and have like what felt like a heart-to-heart. Not every interview will feel like a heart-to-heart.
Right.
Some of them just feel like I'm just asking questions and they're just getting whatever and just going to get a soundbite. But when you have a gentleman like Tim to go out there and actually make it a heart-to-heart and have it a conversation, and then if you're present and you're in it, I'm not editing. Like when we're asking these questions, I stop and I want to focus because I want to either hear or follow up, but I also want to give the energy and pay attention. Then you're rewarded for doing so. And I felt at the end of the day, I was like, man, how lucky are we that, one, we work in this incredible sport, but then have an opportunity to sit and chat with these cats and actually get some stuff that you can actually take into your life and try to do something better. Like we've been saying it forever, like I look at a lot of these, we interview some of the fittest people in the world, and that's part of me where I was like, bro, you got to do, you want to stick around in this sport, you got to start doing some stuff. Let's try to like get in shape a little bit. We're never going to mimic and look like one of these guys because they're the best in the world, but still like grateful for, these times that we get to spend. So, part of yesterday was just like, don't gripe about whatever because you got to do whatever. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, it was really cool that there was like some really good moments, man. Just really, really lucky.
Gotta give yourself that mind because it's easy to just fall into the grind and to fall into the the routine of it all.
So easy.
But to pull yourself out of it and realize, hey man, it's worse ways to make a living. You know what I'm saying? That's for sure. And like you said, to share that human connection, man, like that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
All right, listen, UFC Fight Night 262 this week. We'll be watching that. I want to give a quick shout out to Kaizen Autobison, and I hope I'm not speaking too soon because I haven't got my car back yet. But about a year ago, my wife was driving my car and got hit from behind. Not bad. Everybody was fine. There was no damage, but the bumper was jacked up or whatever, and so I had to get some car repairs done. Well, about a week ago, I noticed that the repainted bumper there was like the paint was starting to peel a little bit on it. And I'm like, that's weird. Like it was just like in a little corner of it, right? It was starting to peel. I'm like, I didn't hit it with anything. What the hell? So anyway, I took it by there. I'm like, I think this should be under warranty or whatever. I was like, hey, we got this done here X amount of months ago. The general manager, he was like, hey, do you mind if I run it back to the bay real quick and take a look at it with my tech? And I'm like, of course. Drives back, comes back to the front. He was like, you know what, man? He was like, poor craftsmanship, man. He's like, we just did a bad job with it. When do you want it fixed? And I was like, you know what, man? Respect to you as a business owner for just not trying. Because, you know, with it's clear that there was some kind of abrasion here. You know what I mean? He was just like, you know what? Looks like we did a bad job on this, man. He's like, I'm gonna fix that for you when you want to schedule.
So they just repaint it or whatever?
Yeah. So I dropped it off on Tuesday, and I'll hopefully get it back today. Like I said, hopefully I'm not praising too soon. It takes like 3 weeks, and you know, oh sorry, we're waiting on the part and this and that. But they're like, we'll get that redone for you.
That's
it's
awesome.
warranty, no charge. I just want to give them a shot.
You don't. That doesn't happen often enough. You know, I get it. You know, like the cost of materials and things is a lot higher.
Yep.
But you know, when you have a customer that keeps coming back to you, you know, you want to take care of them. So good for them.
I thought that was cool that they did. So I want to give them a shout out and
all right, Kaiser, I see you.
As long as it doesn't, as long as it doesn't, I'll update you if it doesn't go well from here. But I will say
I don't see you then.
The initial customer service experience was very pleasant. And
you didn't get a Mr. Morgan?
No,
is that you, Mr. Morgan?
Didn't get that one yet.
They were just looking in the car, so they just took it on face value. That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Good.
So it was good. All right, listen, CFSC next week. I'm actually flying out on Tuesday, so you and I'm sure we'll get together remote and make that all happen. Watch some UFC this weekend, and appreciate all the support. Thanks for listening.